everyone, Moisa here, back with another video. And today, as you can see, we're doing a little bit of a paint splatter watercolor kind of look. This started as a watercolor look and then just ended with me doing a lot of paint splatters using eyeshadow. So if you guys want to learn how to do this look, get into the video. So as we start every video, you guys know I have to do my foundation, so let's get right into it. Okay, and now we're gonna go in with my L'Oreal concealer under my eyes. So now that I have my concealer, we're gonna go in and fix my brows. So now that we have our face base done, we're going to be using two palettes today to kind of do this watercolor look, and we're going to be using my Roxx's palette, which I use every day, and then we're going to be using this Color Festival palette that I haven't really touched in a while because I think this will have great colors. And the inspiration for the watercolor look is going to be the actual cover of this palette. So we're going to open our palette, and I know this color palette is very good for watercolor just based on the pigmentation alone. If you guys just noticed, this shade is completely gone, so I mean at least I've hit pan on something. So we're going to be using these pink shades primarily for the eye look, and then we're going to go in with our Roxx's for a little bit of blue and green kind of tier color scheme. So we're going to be using Groove, which is the matte color in this palette, to give ourselves a little bit of a base. So funny story on how I hit pan on Rage. Honestly, I used it like 3 times, and then one day I opened my palette and it kind of just like fell out. I haven't repressed any of my shadows, so that was a journey to say the least. I wanted to put in a quick disclaimer about my Color Festival palette. I did drop the palette quite a few times, so that's probably why Rage exploded after a few uses. So if you were kind of put off on buying the Color Festival's palette instead of the James Charles palette because of that, that's probably the reason that it happened. All right, let's get back. Alright, so now that I have Groove kind of packed around the center of my eye, we're going to go in with Sequins and dab in a little bit of Pop to do the center of our eye. And this is when we start being a little bit more creative in terms of the path. Since watercolor is more like a drip effect, you can really do anything you want, but I'm going to try to do a little bit of droplets like right above to make it more playful. Alright, so now I'm going to tap my brush a little bit to get a little bit of that white disco color and just put it at the end of this little tear style. And I'm going to blend it in just because it feels a little too heavy to be watercolor right now. Alright, so now that we've used our pink and purple for the tear, we're going to go into our Roxy Ride or Die palette. And in this palette, the reason I wanted to use it is because she has this really, really beautiful green for Grinch right here. In this palette, it's called Draco, but in her other palette, I know there's a very similar green that's called Grinch, if I'm not mistaken. Or I forget because I usually watch her videos, and I watch like a throwback Grinch palette video. So we're going to use that green and kind of just do a little bit of an extension on our eye before going back in with the Color Festival's palette. what I'm doing right now is I'm using a fluffier brush just to get better streaks on my face, and I'm really using all of that color so it looks like the watercolor is really fading away on my face. The reason I wanted to do a watercolor look today is honestly just because I was looking up kind of cool video ideas and I stumbled on this idea where you ask Google to pick your makeup look, and the look that it gave me was one that I really couldn't do, which inspired me to just search up MW, which are my initials, and the word makeup next to it, and it came up with a few looks, and one of them that appeared, I think it was like the second one on screen, was a watercolor look. And from that, I was really inspired and wanted to try doing my own version with actual eyeshadow and not watercolor, just because I don't own any. I own acrylics and I'm not putting acrylics on my face. Alright, so now that we have a little bit of green streaks on our face, I'm going to go back in with our Color Festivals palette, and we're going to use that dark blue denim. We're definitely going to need some white in this one. Look at her go. She's so pigmented. And now we're going back in with Disco to make this a little bit lighter on our left eye. And now we're gonna get a little bit more precise. So I'm grabbing an eyeliner brush and I'm going back in with that white Disco and drawing a few dots around on my face like stray pieces of paint. This white is actually starting to appear gold, which I didn't think would happen. So this is becoming not what I intended. We love that for me. Very iridescent. This is so weird. I think I'm gonna grab my James Charles palette and we're gonna use that white to kind of fix up what's going on my face right now. So I'm just like doing a few splatters on my face right now with the colors that I've used. And what I noticed is the Color Festivals palette has a lot of dupes from the James Charles palette, which is interesting. So if you're looking for something similar, but that's not James Charles, you might want to check that out, because this is a James Charles green, this is the BH Cosmetics Color Festivals palette green, and this is the same with the purple and the blue, and I look like one of those very messy canvases, and I'm kind of digging it. But before I go a little too crazy, we're gonna put down the palette. I've used like 6 brushes in this whole adventure. But now, let's do a little bit of highlight, and I got my Dripping in Gold highlight. This is my drugstore highlighter, but it also happens to be just one of my favorites to use. So I have all of my brushes. I have a drawer of brushes and I just pulled it out of its drawer set and I'm using that on my desk. I will eventually do like a whole makeup collection video, but we're going to take the most white color of this palette right here. And this is called Champagne Toast, and we're going to grab our highlight brush and go on our cheeks. This may be a weird comment, but I'm kind of in the mood for Chick-fil-A. So I think after this video, I'm going to see if I can Uber Eats myself some Chick-fil-A. Alright, so now that we have a little bit of highlight, it's very subtle, which is nice. I wish I got my other highlight palette today because it's much more bright, but this will do. So now that we have that, let's go in with some eyeliner, and my favorite eyeliner right now is the Maybelline eyeliner. I use this a lot, and we're just going to do a simple wing. I still forget. I'm supposed to be doing a video for you all soon, which is one where I just do eyeliner looks, because one of my friends brought up to me that she really wanted that kind of video from me because I do a lot of them, and a lot of my friends in Boston always ask me how I do my eyeliner. And I don't know, I was gonna say I wing it, and then I was like, oh, that's cringe. That's a pun. You know, this is more of a paint splatter look than a watercolor look, but I don't really mind it just because it gives me vibes of like, it gives me a lot of vibes of like if I were to be doing a whole painting on my eyes, and then this is all of like the rub off, which I think is just super super cool. So I don't mind kind of this weird like hodgepodge kind of look. So now we're going to use our mega length eyeliner mascara. As you saw, right, I did just do my mascara with no mirror, and I was kind of terrified. We love that for me. And I'm using clear gloss today just because I want to keep my lips simple since everything else on my face is super artsy question mark. But yeah, so that is everything on my face. I hope you guys like it. It's a little different, and we're in my room now, so that's also very different. But yeah, we're at like 40 minutes of recording. We love that for me. So bye everyone. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.